Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Welcome, everybody, to Ask Loral. Today, we're going to be launching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And disclaimer, we are not associated with the game show. Just be very clear about that. But actually, let's start the conversation there, Loral. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? A lot of people watch a lot of these game shows that are highly scripted. I remember you would always tell me the story of somebody who was in the big table, who was actually on their way to Los Angeles to join the wife swap game show, and they weren't even married. They were actually going to meet their husband at the game show. So let's start there and let's invite everybody to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and get that underway.
Yeah, and while you are joining, whether you are on any of our live social feeds or here live on Zoom, why do you want to be a millionaire? Not the little why, like I've had a blah, 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 your baby why, I call it, the big whining why. What's your big why? Why would you want to be a millionaire? And let's pop that in some of the chats. All right, let's talk about why do you want to be a millionaire? Right. And the other question we've had going on social, which has been really fun, is what would you do if you had $1 million? Right now, that's an interesting question, because then I know if you have a lottery thinking and employee thinking psychology, or if you have a wealth builder thinking psychology and investor psychology. So Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was a fun campaign. Our team came up with it, and we are going to run it for quite a while. We want to know who wants to be a millionaire. We're going to show you a wheel. We're going to go through what it takes to be a millionaire. And as Steve said, anything on TV is so interesting how the public, is immersed by Shark Tank, right? Which is extremely scripted. Don't think they just all show up and they all look like that. And everyone sits in the green room. Everyone gets makeup. Everyone gets media trained, right? Just like it was on Dr. Phil. Barbara Walters was so scripted, we had to read the teleprompter and not go off one word, right? And so like Steve said, we had someone in the big table, literally, that went to wife swap. She just got a position, but she wasn't even married. My point is TV is entertaining, and it is, and you all gather around it. And there was a day when Dr. Phil looked at me and said, Loral, you care more about educating these people and getting it right than entertaining them with, stories and possibilities. And I said, you are correct. So that's me, which is why we're here. I think, I'm in the endurance girl. Like, I'm going to be here, as long as you are here and you're serious about becoming a millionaire. So we took a spoof on it. We thought it was kind of fun, but we're the real who and how and why it gets done. So to that, I want to pop in, and Steve, if you want to read some of these out too. If I had $1 million, you'd reinvest it to do $1 million. But specifically, what's that plan, Dr. Jean? Again, too general. I would build a team around me. We have a team. We've already built it. You just need to hire them. Gabrielle, welcome back. I actually think that I am one, not born, 2/3 of it. Okay, so I get it. I get the psychology of that. I was in The Secret, but I'm not going with that. A millionaire and being a millionaire is not in your heart and it's not in your head. It is in your bank account. It is your assets that you own minus liability that you owe. It is your net worth millionaire. So this is the true stuff. Not maybe someday I'll make it. And, those of you here up publicly front facing, we use this all the time as our matrix, which is the list of things. We're going to get to that in a little bit in our broadcast and talk about that. So we want to know who's really serious and are willing to roll up your sleeves and do the work. And then here's what's going to be fun is a lot of you, as you become a millionaire, I remember that day. It's really a look back day. Like, I didn't know really until into July that in June of 1999 is when I hit my millionaire status, because all the numbers have to come in from the month. Everything has to be booked appropriately, and then you can actually see. So it's usually a look back. There are some times where you're going to walk into it, like there's big IPO, there's some big purchase, and you can walk into it that way. But I want you guys to start really getting specific, really specific about what you want. And there's a combination of what you want, and then there's what is, right? And this is what is, and how things really get done. So as you know, that's what we're committed to, right? The whole book, which, by the way, I'm going to start encouraging you to have this be an annual read. We are not going to redo. There won't be a 2.0. There doesn't need to be a 2.0. If we did do a 2.0, I'll say it that way, it would just be more and more stories, how different people in different industries in different places went from where they are to a millionaire, because this is how you do it, right? You go through the sequence, you go through the structure. I just feel like I documented it. One of my new clients, I love her. She said, you know what you did is you took the Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? The cash flow game, and you made it like the how-tos, the grit. How do you really get it down to the bank accounts and the credit cards and all that? So we're excited. I think you should reread it, see whose profile you now match, given that many of you, especially out here on our live Zoom, you've been with us for a while. So have you shifted since you've met us, right? So have you shifted since you met us? And Gabrielle, I love that you want to do the learning and the doing, but let's do the learning and the doing in a way that you're going to get paid and then godly amount of money for it, because you deserve it. And again, the premise and the structure context I say that I teach it from is what you have someone needs. And until you decide to show up as a proper business and actually viable to do a lot of business or make it hard for people to do business with you, you really can't help people. So it's sort of an oxymoron sitting on one say I want to help people and then not set a structure that you actually can do that in an easy way. So as we head into this year, to the end of this year, like we have, Steve, if you want to go look, ask your, little friend over there. I think we have how many days left to the end of the year? We're under 40. I'm pretty certain we have 31. Where are we at? So someone calculate that. How many days? We are to the finish line.
We're at 38 days left.
38 days left, and you got to get a lot of stuff done. So we're going to show you some of the things we know that you need to get done. If you haven't done, what we're going to be doing as an organization is we're going to call it, we went back to the lab. Actually, Steve and I have been in the lab for a little minute here, about a month, really rethinking, this year for all of this community was putting the marketplace and the fast cash in the graduate marketplace and putting a process in that you really had to not show up to not learn how to make money. Especially those of you who invested the $399 in a graduate marketplace where you can come anytime, all the time. You show up 3 days a week to fast cash, you really hone your skills and hone your offerings, hone your pricing, your funnel, all of that. Come back out to the marketplace, practice again. I mean, if you had a scorecard, you should be tracking every marketplace. You should be making more and more money. That would be showing your progress, that you actually have embedded the skills, you've integrated the skills into your life. And now you actually can make more money, and you're seeing the progress of your money-making skills, right? Which you can see on here is make money, keep money, invest money. So as we look into next year, we're looking at the gaps, right? Because that was this year, 2021 was so well structured for you as clients and for us to give you exactly what we know you need. Now, the next level we're going to go to is really doing some done for you, even more done for you, because some of you just aren't getting it done. So let's jump into Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Steve. Go to the next slide. Again, everything we do is education only. Did you want to skip that little guy? But again, this is just the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We're not associated, but it is, we're just having fun with it. And I am a millionaire. I'm a millionaire in 8 industries. So I actually hadn't calculated that for a long time. And now I'm headed into 2 more is my goal. So how many industries and what industry do you want to be a millionaire? My first 1 and 2 was gas and oil and real estate. And then I moved into actually selling, learning how to sell, just being in the sales category of selling not only my stuff, a lot of people's stuff. And then from there moved into the publishing space. During that time also green conservation, recycled glass supplements, did a whole supplement nutraceutical company. Been doing private lending the entire time. It's one of my favorite ways to invest is be a first position note holder. So a lot of different categories. So the question is, and let's ask that in the chat. And let's ask that on social. So Steve, if you want to share from the social channels, you get to pick one, right? What's your first millionaire industry that you would like to be, right? And Gabrielle, I'm going to challenge you, know what you need to learn. I'm going to be very specific about what you need to learn. How about that? Infopreneur, good. All right. What else y'all want to be a millionaire in? Who else is out there? Dr. Jean, what do y'all pick one? Not that you can't do it that way. Awesome. All right. Just reading through the chat. All right. So here's our campaign, which you go to, and Steve, I'll let you put it in there. There we go. Got real estate. Digital currency can be one. Cannabis will be coming soon, but that'll be, I'll be adding that one to my list. Infopreneurs. And the other thing too, I want to say to you infopreneurs that are out there, you don't have to be the guru, right? I became a millionaire and I didn't have any of this stuff. I didn't become a millionaire originally on my stuff. I became a millionaire selling other people's stuff, 18 other people's stuff. And yes, Kiyosaki was the lead brand. So for some of you who don't have stuff, this is where affiliate marketing, like, you know, last year we started the year, Thomas and I picked about 6 to 8 people. I think one took it serious, and they, you know, the goal was to make 100,000 just being our affiliates. We have it all mapped out. If you want to say, I want to be an affiliate of ours, I mean, you're going to watch a huge campaign this year and part of the surge will be in April when we launch our Make Your Kids Millionaires book. So to be affiliate of ours, you got a lot of stuff, you got a lot of range. It's not difficult to make just 6 figures being an affiliate of ours, and you add a bunch of other people's, you're well into 6 figures. So it's exciting. The only reason you're not making money and become a millionaire is either you're not coachable, which I don't believe that given the consistency that a lot of you show up here, or you just don't want to do it. You just don't want to do it in your heart of hearts, and you got all sorts of conflicts. So millionaire lifelines, let's talk about this. So, and Steve, I'll let you add in what's not up on the screen. So millionaire lifelines, what we did this time is we put a whole bunch of things that we know you need to become a millionaire, right? So I'm going to start straight off with the one that's straight up, which is your wealth cycles. So that is a book. It's a wealth plan. It's this one. It has 6 hours of me coaching you through how do you build a wealth plan. And a lot of you that are clients of ours, you need to get this done. Like this needs to be done, not just sitting on the shelf collecting dust. And through the holidays would be great to spend 6 hours, build your wealth plan. Right below it is your business plan. That takes about 4 hours in our model to do. And then there's a 25% discount to something. And then obviously my book, you got to have my book. They have to have the game. If you go up, you got another book, you got the game, skill set analyzer. So for those of you still struggling, the skill set analyzer is just brilliant. And it gives you over 1,000 things to pick from. And even if you have something, I'd go back to that 1,000, cash machine idea, skill set analyzer. And I would look at the things you could add to what you're already doing to your funnel to make it a little richer and more offerings. Again, free Yes Energy book. What else is on the other side there, Steve? We can look at the other side of that wheel. But we put a lot of lifelines, things that we believe are lifelines to your success to start being a millionaire. Again, a lot of this is an introductory program, just getting to know us. It'll be all over social. And our big goal is that we'll be giving away over $100,000. We do this every year. We give over $100,000 away of free education to everyone who plays what used to be called Wildcard Shuffle for years. And now we modified and updated. We call it Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So what other lifelines are out there? I know they can get a certificate to meet with Jason, who's out here right now, where they can get a free consult to meet with Jason about life insurance. And there's a free consult to meet with Scott about entities and trusts. What else is all out there? We just put a lot of lifelines in effort to help you get a lifeline and to give away $100,000.
Absolutely. So yes, Laura, you had mentioned the entity review. That's with Scott directly, an insurance review with Jason. We also have a direct sales strategy session for all of you that are in direct sales right now or are interested in actually entering direct sales. There's a strategy for that. There's a real estate investing strategy session. Obviously, expression of your power. You talked about the Yes Energy roadmap. We've talked about building, leading, protecting your business, building your wealth cycles. And then also, because this coming week, December 2nd and 3rd, is the last Millionaire Meetup and Marketplace that we're going to have for the year, and possibly for this lifetime. It's going to be something, completely different in 2022. We are also going to be adding that to the wheel, so you can take advantage of that if you have not attended yet.
Yep. And go ahead and put the link up for how they jump into this Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So again, we're building it off our askloral.com platform, askloral.com/play the game. And please post it on your site, send it around. Steve, talk a little more about the kind of the mechanics of the game. So we want you to come back every day. So we just launched it over the weekend, softer launch. This is our official launch. This will go out to our podcast. So those of you out podcast listening, if you have any questions, always go to askloral.com, ask a question, make a request. But how do they, once they go to play the game, what's the best way that they can win the most? Give them some like insider scoops.
Absolutely. So here's what's happening. The game is now until January 6, 2022, and we're probably going to be giving away over $100,000 worth of prizes and discounts. Now, every single day, you're going to get an email after you've registered. So go to askloral.com/play the game. The link is in the chat for those of you here live on Zoom. Those of you that are out on social channels through the live stream, the links are posted as well. askloral.com/play the game. Once you've registered, every single day you're going to get an email that says, hey, come back and spin the wheel. Click the link, spin the wheel. Some of the lifelines are going to be absolutely free. Some of them are going to be at a steep discount, and some of them will be at a paid level. But again, remember, these are all in a sequence and a plan to really get you to that millionaire status in 3 to 5 years. So use the lifelines to your advantage, what you're needing to get to that next step. Again, it's going to be running from now until January 6th, 2022.
Perfect. And so to that point, the December 21st, I'm actually typing it in right now, December 21st and January 6th. Those are our significant dates. So they'll be from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock Pacific. And you'll be playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We're going to take a little pause on December 21st and really talk about the end of the year. I'm going to get into that in a moment to help you really get prepared. And that's a significant meeting. We do a lot of marketing for that. We usually have hundreds and hundreds of people on. I think last year we had over 1,000 even registered. And we really want, how do you complete 2021? Whatever it became, it's too late to correct it. There's some very specific things you can do. I'm going to share those in a moment with you to make sure this last 38 days don't get blown. And I'll explain what that means. But how do you complete a year, button it up, put it to bed, put a little bow on it and say, thank you, right? No regrets. We don't live with regrets. We live with lessons, right? You're always winning or you're learning something new. You're never losing. You're always like learning something new and having an experience that's positive and open and directed to what's in the future for you. And a lot of you live life through what's not happened, what you don't want, and really start working on some of that. So a lot of times, I'll ask, what you want, and the beginning sentence is what you don't want or what's not working. So start working on that lens of how you live life, living life through yes and positive forward thinking. I'm going to create a new future is the only way to win. You can't live in the past. You've heard a lot of those little cliches. You can't live through the rearview mirror. You got to live through the front, drive of a windshield. So get in and play. Do it every day. We're going to add some. I think, Steve, if you want to make sure, I think Andrew, we talked this morning, he's going to add a few other gifts of the final marketplace into the wheel. And we might be editing a few more things, but we are going to give $100,000 of gifts away. So on the 21st, we're going to ramp you up. On January 6th, we'll announce all the winners, $100,000 of winners. So you want to be there. You got to be present to win. You do not just going to have stuff sent out to you because you aren't here and paying attention. Showing up is all is half the battle. So we want you to show up the 21st and the 6th to really launch into this, continue to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Our teams don't take breaks. This is not an industry where the financial, and business world gets to take a big break. It's not like that in our space. So we will have people here being able to call you, answer questions. Some of you asked about the affiliate program. So Molly, go ahead and put that in. Molly, go ahead and put that. How do they get in touch with you? I did put the phone number in. And let's make this an amazing ending of 2021. Now, to do that, let's jump ahead. Anything else, Steve, on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I would highly encourage you, post it on your channel, say, hey, who wants to be a millionaire? You don't want to do this alone. Because the last thing you're going to have to do is I'm going to tell you to get rid of your friends and family who are not in this conversation. So if you want them to be with you in this conversation, they need to come along. And they can't be out listening to Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey and their campaigns or whatever they're doing in that conversation, because then all you're going to do is feud about it. You're right, they're wrong, and it's not going to really work out. So anything else to be super successful on these millionaire lifelines and what we're going to be handing them?
Definitely look to see what your plan and your sequence is to fill in the gaps for your 3 to 5 year Millionaire Maker plan. And I mean, when in doubt, just give us a call. Call the 775-588-9200 line. We're here. We're available to be able to answer any questions for you. Obviously, share this link to anybody who is your colleague, your friend, your business partner who is going to be on this journey with you. One of the stories that I love that you tell all the time, Loral, is when you were starting on your path to becoming a millionaire. And when people asked you, hey, are you a millionaire? You would tell them, not yet, but I'm going to be. Do you want to come with me? So use that energy, use that languaging in playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and see which lifelines are immediately within your grasp as a resource to be able to get that plan in place for that 3 to 5 year millionaire status.
Yep, absolutely. And I can tell you there will be no better Christmas present because most of you probably buy stuff for your family and what they need all year long. So the holiday gift thing is taken on a very different flavor. Get the Millionaire Maker game, right? Have Santa drop that at your doorstep and put that out. And what's fun, and we've had a lot of families do this, is play Monopoly to get everybody refreshed in the conversation, which gets a little monotonous because all you can do is do one thing, is just buy bigger properties. If you want, you put the cash flow game in there, but put the Millionaire Maker down on top of it, and you'll see the complexity, and not in a negative way. It's just what's it take. It's not just a real estate game, right? Monopoly is a real estate game. Cash flow is a real estate game. Let's call that what it is, right? We've got cash machines. We've got entities. We have TLC for team leadership and conditioning. We have huge specials on that game. And again, we've got to figure out how we're going to ship internationally on those, because it is not cheap given all the supply chain and the shipping issues. But we say yes and we'll figure anything out. We do have a couple people bidding on an NFT to gamify an NFT My Game online. So that will be an interesting 2022 project if that comes to fruition. So I am not an NFT expert. I just have students in my community who say we got to do it. And I said, well, then do it. And we'll just revenue share and it's all yours. So that's hopefully coming in 2022 or 23, whenever they decide to get to it. So let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about how do you really get prepared in these lifelines. So some of the lifelines that we have for you, there's, I guess I call block and tackle. They're right there in front of you all the time. You have to be the one to engage in them. Like this should be a form that you are constantly living by. Is your baseline, right? Where are you? And your freedom date is where you want to go. Like, where is that gap? Our coaching helps you fill in the gap on income first. And as you make enough income, then you start investing in assets and every little piece that's in between it, and really how to live that corporate lifestyle. We're going to put a lot of attention as we move into 2022, even more on living that corporate lifestyle to its fullest efficiency. And it's in the Millionaire Maker book. So again, all of you can go to the, so Steve, where do you want them to get a copy of the Millionaire Maker book? You want to go to, I say the easiest is to go to Loral, LORAL.club, just because it's there. It's right at the top. It's where we send our clubhouse folks. There's tickets to the marketplace, our last one next week. And at minimum, you need to give yourself a holiday gift and get yourself into an income program and start focusing on, I mean, we're the only company in the world that's ever said, I'll guarantee you 100,000 in new income. And some of you need to take more advantage of it. It's right there, right in front of you. So this is a huge tool that you want to really end the year. How did you do in 2021? And then what do you want it to be in 2022? So you could put two of these side by side as another technique a lot of our clients use. What have you done? What do you want to do? And this isn't just hopeful thinking. This is based on other P&Ls and balance sheets. Now, the next thing is your sequencing, again, to the Millionaire Maker book. So again, I'd like you to reread it. And again, the way you read the book is you read the first few chapters, reorient yourself to the gap analysis and the sequencing. And then there's 7 families that became millionaires. And Steve, where's the rest? I mean, we have so many stories. Like we did do a version 2 of this where we added tons and tons of stories of people that became millionaires. Plus, straight up on the homepage of our Big Table page are tons of people either working on their millionaire status or have just become. And as we come into this Vegas event for the Big Table, and in April for sure, we will have many more new millionaires to announce. And we only announce them when they tell us. You know, it's interesting, the psychology of I want to make money, and how everybody wants to be a millionaire and will live out loud, live out loud, live out loud, live out loud. And then Once they start getting money, they start living quietly, because we're welcome to the most ridiculous, litigious nation in the world. And anyone will sue you for all sorts of weird things. So, and a lot of them not even relevant. We've seen that on national news lately, just ridiculous what's going on. So, Steve, where's that? Do you have that? Can you just want to give us a little voice override on that, the bigger book that has more stories? Because I think a lot of people look at it and say, well, you haven't made a millionaire in a certain category. And I think you'd be surprised. We made chiropractors, natural path doctors. I can just put the whole doctor category, is not hard. Ophthalmologist in Colorado became a multi-millionaire with some strategies we came up with together. I have a brand new a heart surgeon just joined the big table like today. Cannot wait to see what's on store for the health and community, like what he's going to be bringing to the community. There's a lot of industries, a lot of green, a lot of conservation, Department of Conservation through grants, who then became millionaires making it their business. A lot of crypto right now, tons of crypto, a few cannabis, hemp, CBD. Steve, where can they get that link?
Yep, I'm going to put it into the chat right now, so they can go check out those success stories. And then also that PDF that you mentioned that has even more success stories. It was with a book that I'm looking for the PDF actually. I'll put it into the comments that included a lot of success stories. I believe I want to say that it was guerrilla marketing, but it might be something a little bit different. So let me find that, and I'll post the success stories links into the chat.
Yeah, and remember, Kevin did the 3 books and added success stories to all 3 books. So those are available, right? We can add those, because especially wealth cycles, that was edited and added. We've been always updating our content. So fine, good stuff. So make sure you go back on the sequencing and just review it. Now let's do a little lesson. And again, the 21st, we're going to go through this thoroughly. We've got 2 hours to go through this. The gap analysis is something over time that your bookkeeper, well-trained, will do. By the way, those of you coming into our coaching, you probably should bring a bookkeeper along. A lot of them aren't trained like this. They're just trained to data enter. But your gap analysis, your baseline, your freedom day, that keeps your financials organized. The bottom is all you. That's what those in dark blue is. There's one person going to do that. You're going to lead them. And there's one person going to do the bottom, leadership, teamwork, and conditioning, which is you. You're going to lead it. The middle is the art of the structure of how to sequence. What comes first for you, given what you've done to yourself? Do you need to manage and reallocate assets? Like maybe you're just a park and pray person. You're parked in bonds and mutual funds going, oh my gosh, I got lazy assets, and you want to reallocate your assets. Maybe you're an entity person. You are not living with enough corporate structure. And some of you have got to get better corporate structure before we end this year. And then your cash machine is your business. You got to have some active income at all times. And even when you say you were retired, which we don't even agree to that word, but you know what I mean? When you say you want to close it down, you still want things making money. You still want to have some active income, which is why we have our beat inflation. It's a very part-time, simple gig. We got people making, I don't think quite thousands a month yet, but hundreds a month. We've just launched it really a couple of weeks ago officially. So if you go to askloral.com/beat inflation, there's an opportunity to make that a business for you. And you can actually, it is very North American centric. I don't know that it's in other countries, but we'll have to check with the team. I should know that, but I don't know that. But you always want to look at your cash machine and always be upping and reevaluating. Your forecasting, as you get more entities, you want to be looking at how you're spending money. There's only about 8 or 10 things when you're truly living corporate life you cannot deduct out of 81,000 pages of code. So you're never going on vacation. Like, let's live this life. Right, that's really the theme for the big table as we head into 2022, is not talk about it, walk it. Like, let's not talk it, let's walk it, and be these people out loud and everywhere you are. Your wealth accounts is when you're going to make it. So I can just tell you one sequence that cannot be disconnected is your cash machine to your wealth account. Every time you make some money, you need to put money into your wealth account. And while it accumulates, then you decide what you're going to do for you to invest in assets. What are your money rules? So those do toggle together. Your debt management, again, page 194 of the Millionaire Maker. You don't get out of debt the way a lot of you are thinking about getting out of debt. And there are some people walking around our community with, I'm going to say out loud, absolutely irresponsible debt programs. They want to consolidate your debt. They should be in Susie Orman's camp with that conversation, not this one. So we are in 100% disagreement with reconsolidations, those high fees, paying off cheap debt first, paying your house down in 15 years. I mean, it's a pretty rare person that we would ever agree to that. Why would you spend that much money to pay off an asset that can't cash flow for you? Why don't you take that extra money on that extra payment you want to make on that mortgage and go put it to work into whatever you want to do? Put it into digital currency, put it into cannabis, put it into real estate, put it into iFlip, put it to work. So again, if you go to Loral, Loral.club, all of you listening, there's a lot of those resources I just mentioned out there. But getting your sequence together is something critical. We'll be really focused on that December 6th and 7th when we're in Las Vegas at the big table. Really important you guys are there. Now, the next one is not in the book, but these actually next two are not. But they will be talking a lot about these December 21st and then December 6th as we're doing our planning. But this was the accumulation of what I call the list. If you want to be a millionaire, this is the matrix. These are all the things. I shouldn't even say it's all the things. It's a lot of lists. What do you need to do to make money? What do you need to do to keep money? What do you need to do to learn to invest it and educate yourself? And how do you run a team? We have the team. You don't have to find a team. It's pretty rare that our team doesn't outperform anybody's team who's ever walked through here, especially Scott in the corporate compliance, our trusts, Jason in the insurance, and Jason, Jason and what he does to make sure that gets done, our self-directed IRAs, and we're pretty just spot on right now, just crushing it actually for the clients who engage. And that is a big part. We can't drag you into it. Then for those of you in the big table, and we're going to keep this up quick and then move it, is we put together a very specific, and this is the big table sequencing. So this is the matrix, your list. This is the order that we give 99% of the people to do it. So Steve, if you move to the next slide. And this is our big table work. And this tells you how to really break it down. And this is what we call your year one roadmap. So you can click to the next slide. And yep, we don't keep that up there very long because that's what the big table, it pays for every detail of that roadmap and how to get it done. Because really your first year, you set your foundation or reset 6 months to a year, depending on what you did to yourself. And then you go for it. Then it's acceleration. Acceleration means I'm going to make more money. I'm going to make my assets make more money. I'm going to reduce my taxes. I'm going to beat inflation. I'm going to spend differently. Now you're in the real efficiencies of how do you really run your money at a level that most people don't. Next year, again, we've got a lot coming out. We have the Make Your Kids Millionaires program coming out. Potentially an NFT on the game. I can't promise that because I will not be in charge of that. I'm going to hand that to a team and say good luck. And I will be the one blessing it at the end to make sure it's aligned. Other things that are going to be coming is potentially we will be, iFlip will be, I shouldn't say potentially on this one. iFlip will be expanding into digital currency. There'll be some digital currency launches here in our community. And the big one, there'll be a kids bank. And as soon as I get my affiliate link, I'm actually an owner of this company. I just invested in it this year. It's called Gravy Stack. It's a kids bank. And I'll be bringing more of those folks on our podcast to talk to a lot of the owners, founders, and developers of how to do it. So you're going to see 2022 take a huge expansion to not only the kids, but generational wealth is our conversation. And how do you truly live this in your life so you set yourselves and your families up for generations and generations and generations. Typically, most plans last less than about 2.8 years or 2.8 turns. So it maybe last year kids is a second turn and their kids usually blow it. So let's not have that happen if you're serious about all this. So a year from now, you're going to wish you started today. How we start in a fun way is we start with the campaign called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So you get in, you dial every day, stay in touch with us every day, call our office for things you need. If you want to put our affiliate program into your next year, put it into your next year's plan as something that we can support you to do. If you really want to do the beat inflation, go to askloral.com/beat inflation. You can buy that way, or you can actually make that a little part of your business. So we have some people who are doing that. I do a lot of the lead generation for that. We've got over 100, 150 leads already coming through on that. So lots of ways that you can play here. We have a lot of opportunities. We're not just that one-stop shop for one-stop thing, because all of you are different. And we want to appeal to the different skill sets and goals that you all have. So Steve, anything to kind of wrap this up as we, I have a few things I want to say, but I'm just going to go back and read through some of this.
Yep, absolutely. Just reminding everybody to head on over to askloral.com/play the game. It's only one time opt-in to be able to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Every single day, you're going to be getting a reminder with an opportunity to come back, spin the wheel for a different lifeline. And again, we're going to be adding some of those extra lifelines to the wheel. Tickets for our very last meetup and marketplace of the year, which is going to be next week, December 2nd and 3rd. And then also, all of you that have already registered for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you will be receiving an invitation to our December 21st New Year, New You planning and sequencing for bettering your results in 2022. But yes, visit askloral.com/play the game.
Yeah, and jump into the beat inflation. A few things I just want to wrap up on here. Get your LLCs done. Call our office. So again, see if you want to put one last phone number in there for Molly. Call in. Molly can get you connected and an appointment with Scott. I'm just reading through this chat. The surgeon is a naturopath, and he has technology, honey. Don't worry. I don't do old school stuff on my health, so don't worry. I'm in godly capable hands. The other thing too, I just saw in the chat and I've saw on other screens, I don't get pitch deals. You don't even, if you wanted to talk about a deal you have or how you might want to get it funded, you go to the big table. That is a non-negotiable, or you hire me privately, which is more money than the big table. So I don't send me deals. I won't look at them unless you are in the big table. We would be flooded all over. You got to be in the big table. You've got to be structured. You've got to be organized. You got to be in a way that we know you're safe to even have a conversation out loud to other people. And then you're going to also learn the law. There's a lot of legal things that you cannot do. You cannot pitch. We're teaching a lot of our new clients that have opportunities, and they say, "Well, can I pitch the table?" I said, "Oh, no. First of all, you have to know people for a minimum of 30 days, depending on how you're doing it, or you have to have a Reg A, you have the Reg D. There's a lot of legal structures, and that's not just the United States, that's all over the world on how to raise capital. So you have to come and learn. That is no kindergarten game. And Shark Tank makes it look like one, but they don't give you any of the legal details on how that really goes down behind the scenes, which is why a bunch of them are getting sued right now. So, and by the way, when you see someone's getting sued or someone's, done something, I mean, watch your first face reaction. A lot of you don't know enough to even have a judgment call about it. I mean, I've been through 21, if not 30. I don't even know. I stopped counting. I mean, what's the point? As you grow and as you expand, and I'm going to say, take risks and be courageous. Welcome to life. Welcome to life. And so I would encourage people to have conversations instead of watch the bathroom wall called the internet. The internet will talk about whatever it wants to, how it wants to, and it's got the good, the bad, and the interesting out there. Our whole commitment to you is to make you an amazing entrepreneur, and then as you become a great entrepreneur, six-figure entrepreneur, you head your way towards that millionaire status. So a lot going to happen in 2022 for us as we reorganize our business plan for you and our community. And don't miss next week. It is it's our version 2. When we first came out of COVID in March, we had one version of the marketplace, and then we modified it. And this is version 2, and we are going to put it to bed. There'll always be the replays, and we'll have the replays up on our store and available to people to learn, but we won't be performing it live again. It will go to sleep, just like Ask Wall Street had its time, 3 Days to Cash had its time, and we're just progressing on to the next conversation with money. So with that, we're going to leave you. Those of you on the podcast, thanks for being on Loral's Real Money Talks. Again, Steve, 2 more links to put in. If you are not listening to my podcast at this point, not only just listen to it once, subscribe to it through our iTunes or Stitcher. Become a weekly podcast listener, comes out every Friday morning. And then our YouTube channel, which is rocking along, crushing it. And we'll be moving more and more as we go to that next year. And you'll be getting more and more content. So that's 5 days a week. So subscribe, hit the notification. So every day you get a notification of when we come live on our YouTube channel. And we did promise all of you a binge watching incentive. We didn't have the time to come up with it before we left last week, but we will announce it throughout the campaign of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because we are going to incent a lot of you. And some of you, depending on how you want to do it, it'll affect your tuition. So we can do some straight up. That is my number one incentive. Those of you who want, a nice financial chunk off of a next stage of tuition, you're going to binge watch our YouTube channel, because I want you to learn. I want you to know it. I want you to integrate it. Integration, and notice this over the holidays for all of you who've been learning this year with us. A lot of you have been really here the whole year. Notice how many of you can actually speak our conversation. Now you know you have it. Just sitting there and agreeing like, yeah, I agree with Loral. I agree with Steve. I agree with Scott. I agree with the team. That's like an agreement thing. That's not an integration. Integration deeply into a learning pattern means you can actually speak it back out loud. That's the premise of Live Out Loud, the company that is the infrastructure of this whole thing. So you always want to be in a conversation. Just test it out. See how you're doing. See how confident you are in the conversation about money out loud, and get it around your kitchen table. So all of you have an amazing, amazing week. Again, every day. We will have the replays to the recordings that go to the Millionaires in Training group. Is there another place, Steve, right now that we are putting that? The replays to all of these?
Yes.
Where else does
so we're going to be archiving the replays inside of the Millionaire Meetup Marketplace dashboard access. So here's how this will play out. Those of you that have not attended December 2nd and 3rd, definitely head on over to Loral.club, register for that today, or you can give us a call right here in the office, 775-588-9200. What we're going to do is the replays from that event next week, December 2nd and 3rd, are going to become archived as replays inside of the Millionaire Maker Meetup and Marketplace online course. Those of you that would like to get re-upped access, there's going to be a setup for that as well. But moving forward, that's where all of the replays will live. Currently, we do have replays available online on a page. However, you need to give us a call and we can give you access. And then from there, we can help you decide whether the 2nd and the 3rd is going to be the best thing, or the 21st of December is going to be a better fit for you.
Well, I'm gonna do a little override. 21st and January 6th is for everybody. There's none of you that aren't going to need, and it's not going to be the same new year, new you. I got a lot of new fun techniques and strategies. So this is completing what you all need, and starting is what you all need in January 6th. So all of you should be at those two as a completion of 2021 and a startup January 6th of 2022. But the 2nd and 3rd, that is different. I would agree. And, as we huddle back in our lab for the next 38 days and come live with our plan for you in 2022, we have a lot of recorded amazing content. So Steve and I and the team will look at where we can put that in a, what I'm thinking, Steve, is somewhere on integrated wealth systems is just a huge bunch of replays, including this Ask Loral, that these are not, so I can tell you, like, we are going to move off of Tuesdays at 12 noon. This will also be completing as we head into the 21st. We won't be doing every week broadcasts because we're doing every day podcasts, and YouTube channels, and you need to be on YouTube with us every day. And we may have some watch parties and things like that, but we're going to shift it up again next year. We're just calling it, here's my campaign for 2022, right? We're over it. The things can continue, but we don't have to continue, being on the front line. I mean, we really came to the front line in March of 2020 when we knew people needed financial help with the pandemic, and people know we're here. So we are going to modify our broadcasts as well. So watch for our schedule. We'll be updating everything on integrated wealth systems and sending you all the information. December 21st and January 6th, you'll get all those announcements so you can kind of reset with us and have an amazing support of 2022 for making money. And, I'm serious, who wants to be a millionaire? I mean, our promise is if you do what we say, you'll do it in 3 to 5 years. So this is no like elusive casual promise. We do it all the time with our clients that go to the big table. That is where the comprehensiveness happens of this content. So we look forward to supporting you. You guys have a great week. Go to askloral.com, play the game, and be out there spinning the wheel. We'll be back next Tuesday, as well as weekly YouTube and Friday podcasts. A lot of assets, a lot of content. You guys have an amazing holiday, and we'll talk next Tuesday on this broadcast. Those of you on the podcast, stay tuned. You'll be back next Friday. Take care. So this is Loral, and you've been listening to my podcast. If you've enjoyed this, I have a couple things you can do that are completely up to you. Number one, take my quiz. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com and take the quiz. You will find that there's one of 4 personalities, financial personalities we call them, that you're going to fall into. So as you take the quiz, it'll actually go through and identify, are you in stagnant cash flow, right? Are you overpaying taxes? Do you have debt issues? Are you a lifestyle junkie? Where are you? And then from there, it goes to a video that actually gives you some solutions on how to correct that problem. So again, go to integratedwealthsystems.com, take my quiz, and we'll go from there. Okay, and then a different call to action. This is Loral. You've been listening to my podcast, Loral's Real Money Talks. If you'd like a conversation one-on-one with one of my team members, the easiest thing to do is call my office, 775-588-9200. Say, I would like a one-on-one with someone on the team. The other thing you could do just to go get some gifts is go to Loral.club, Loral.club. Loral.club is a place where you can get a free ticket to my marketplace. You also can bring a guest to the marketplace, fill out a profile, and get a whole bunch of gifts that we really want to get some feedback. I want you financially literate. The biggest challenge people have isn't that they have a resistance to money. They just don't know about it. So let me help you. And you're here on this podcast, Loral's Real Money Talks. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.